Hey, good morning, everyone. You are with Tom from Ludicrous Feed. Thank you so much for joining us this beautiful Saturday morning, the 18th of November, 2023. I am, of course, joined by our very good friend Riz from Carloop. Good morning, Riz. How are you?
Yeah, Tom, going well. And you sound like you're in a bit of a gaming chair there.
Hey, life is a game, Riz. You know that. And
It's an EV game.
correct, it's a game that I'm enjoying, and hopefully we're all winning today. So, yeah, thanks for joining us, Riz, and thank you also to our viewers this morning too. We'll get to some welcomes very shortly, but firstly, let's say a thank you to our sponsors this morning, as always, of course, Carloop, Warbox, and Evee. Thank you so much for making Ludicrous Feed Live possible. If you want some nice discount codes for Warbox and Evee in particular, Warbox is a EV charging company, and also Evee is a EV car sharing company. So check those discount codes out in the video description below, as always. Really, so much to talk about, as always, on a Saturday morning. You know, it seems like we were only, well, for yourself, only 7 days ago we chatted, but of course you joined us a bit on Wednesday night from your private jets. But thanks for joining us again this morning. Nice to have you back on the stream.
No, anytime. Yeah, we've had quite a bit of news. I think there's a lot of charging news to cover, and yeah, lots of uh, new EVs being released. A lot of them won't make it to Australia, but you never know.
Yeah, that's right. We've got a bit of a piece this morning from the, I think RACV released the electric cars coming this year, or next year. So we'll get to that very shortly. But first, let's say hello to our regular guests. If you are watching live, make sure you leave a comment, as always, in the live chat. If you're watching us on replay, hello as well. Make sure you leave a comment in the comments section. And also, if you're watching or listening to us on audio podcast, thanks for joining us. All right, so we've got Sensei in the chat there, watching us from Taramara in Sydney. Hello there. We've got Gaffer as well. Hello, and oh, only here for the start off from the Gong to Sydney today, 8:30. Okay, enjoy the drive, Gaffer. John's watching us from sunny Brisbane. It seems to be always sunny in Brisbane, doesn't it? Even if it's cool, it's still sunny. We've got Graham watching us from Shepparton in Victoria. We've got Jerry Can from sunny Adelaide, Ange from Cairns. We've got Jim from Tassie Thalassine also from Tassie. Been overcast this morning. Simon from Tenterfield. Abby from Melbourne West. Chris Wood, yes, will Riz be here? Well, here he is. Chris, he's right here in the flesh, so to speak. Kevin from Buninyong. And Jean from Southwest Sydney. Hello. JE from Linfield in Sydney. And Kenny Tins from a mild Melbourne. Looks like the weather's okay today, Riz.
Yeah, it's cloudy with a slight chance of meatballs, but it should be okay.
Nice. SWS from New Beith in Queensland. Fallon Stewart from Barwon Heads in Victoria. Oh, Hal's watching from Newcastle. Oh, sorry, he's going up to Newcastle. Air show. Interesting. Will be great weather. Sid Squad are covering live on YouTube. Okay, thanks for the heads up. And Jasper's watching from Catherine again. 6:30, very warm, almost 30 degrees. Amazing. So nice. And Jeremy's got our joke for the morning. Why don't EVs like radios? Because they're worried about being wireless. But tish. Nice. No, I'm not watching or joining you from an EV helicopter. Not just yet. Maybe one day.
That's that's Tom's daytime job. He's a helicopter pilot and a coach. So if anyone's interested, free lessons in Sydney, as long as it's an electrified helicopter.
That's right. I'm here to drive or fly Riz around in his private jet for sure. Uh, Sensei says Tom joining us from his little Cessna private plane, trying to one up Riz's private jet. Hey, life is a game, as I said, so we're here to compete, of course. No, just kidding. Sitting in my car. And thank you, Tassie, saying don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. Miller's watching from Mount Druitt. And yeah, Mark watching from South Coast, New South Wales. Good. And yeah, Scaffer says Spectre took Riz from the private jet to his personal studio in time this morning.
It's just the way it works.
Awesome. All right, thanks everyone for your welcome and your greetings this morning. Let's get to our first story, of course, and that is we touched on this last week, and superchargers being installed in Sydney. It's going to be the second one in central Sydney, very close to Broadway. This is at the tram sheds in Everleigh, which is kind of Redfern. Um, and there we go. We've got 4 stalls confirmed for tram sheds, which is a nice shopping centre, community centre with good parking facilities as well. So, Riz, I think next time you're in Sydney, this will be a good one to try out.
Yeah, I got to check it out.
Yeah, 4 stalls. So it's a V3 supercharger, and we used to think this was installed in triplets, but looks like they can do it in fours now too. Cool. All right, that's good. I think more chargers the better. We did touch on Wednesday that Victoria or Melbourne has now got 3 within close vicinity of each other. The latest at the Como Centre in South Yarra.
Yeah.
Now Sydney having 2 as well, very close by. You could argue that yes, you could probably have more installed in the regions, but also good to have more in the cities because it is a denser population. We do need those for those who don't have off-street parking. So, thank you to our spies who regularly post stuff and tag us on X and send us emails about it. So yeah, keep them coming. We'll definitely show them on the stream. Thanks to viewer Norris for tagging me as well. Cool. Yeah, Gaffer's asking when do we see V4? I wonder, Riz. That's a good, really good question. I think.
Yeah, they've started to install them out of, it was originally Europe, then the US, and recently back in Europe again with Giga Berlin getting quite a few of the V4 stalls open to all EVs. I suspect it's probably something in the new year we'll get to see him. I mean, if some of the existing sites that are being constructed are still sort of V3, then yeah, possibly a bit of time until we get to see them. So in the new year, everyone, keep an eye out.
Yeah, that's right. V4, by the way, those who don't know, it's got the longer cable. So those without Teslas or non-Tesla EVs can charge easier with the longer cable. We've seen some issues with other cars having to park at odd angles and take up another stall, which is not ideal. Taking up another supercharger spot. So longer cable and also tap and go credit card facilities. So no need for an app potentially. So hopefully we'll see them in Australia very soon, as Riz says. It's prudent now to probably revisit the story, and this is Rob S, who regularly tags me and Riz and Rahul in X. And we knew that from last week or this week that EG Group is to sell superchargers directly to. Sorry, EG Group has signed with Tesla to sell superchargers to them to be used at their petrol stations. And we know, Riz, that EG Group, of course, runs Ampol AmpCharge in Australia too.
Yeah, a couple. Well, they definitely run. They definitely run some of the convenience stores they purchased off Woolworths back in 2019. So the good news could possibly be the deployments of these will begin next month in Europe, in the UK. So depending on how that goes and how large the deal is, we're not sure. They've sort of said something along the lines of going up to 20,000 charges, um, but that's yet to be seen. So the opportunity with V4 superchargers is a new revenue stream for Tesla. They're selling hardware. Brands like Tritium should be worried. They were never able to secure large $100 odd million deals like Tesla did with BP and now with EG Group. It's also quite substantial. Could be that domino effect that we'll start to see very soon, where a lot of the other oil and gas giant companies that want to do, roll out across tens of thousands of sites globally, just go to Tesla. They've got the solution sorted, and these charge locations will also end up in the Tesla UI in Tesla vehicles. That's what's been said so far. So this is great for EV adoption. It's great for the fact that Tesla is able to sell hardware at such scale. They're obviously able to produce it, and it's going to add tens of thousands of charge points all around the world that are reliable and that are well maintained.
Yeah, exactly, Riz. You make a good point that reliability is king at the moment. If you were a business, why wouldn't you put the most reliable charger if you're actually serious about encouraging EV users to use your facility? So you'd use Tesla, you would use Kempower. You would look at the metrics currently and go, well, there are some brands that just don't, that just don't work or aren't reliable most of the time. So, yeah, use the most reliable network, make it a great experience for EV charging. Um, and that's how the transition is going to work with serious players in the market. So yeah, hopefully we'll see more Tesla superchargers roll out currently in Europe, or US and the Europe, and hopefully in Australia will follow suit as well. There's a question here from where was it? Where are superchargers manufactured? Well, I was just researching this as Riz was chatting. I think they are made in Shanghai, actually. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so I think the stalls themselves are manufactured in Shanghai for the Australian market. They the main technology stack, the electrical equipment, even some of the recent ones like Dandenong that opened a couple of months ago, it still says Buffalo, New York
Mm,
for the big cabinets. So I suspect the actual stalls are probably made in a combination of New York and Shanghai.
mm. Yeah, I'm just showing you guys this one too now. Let me just put this one up. So yeah, so the prefab units, here we go, made in Buffalo, New York still. So interesting. That's a really nice solution for like busy periods, right? Just pull that along to a busy site and relieve some of the congestion with the prefab sort of ready to go unit like that. That's really cool. All right. Let's say hello to some more viewers who've tuned in. So we've got Greg is asking, given the premium price of supercharging, are people going to be happy paying for parking on top of that? I
Yeah.
believe, Greg, on Wednesday night that some people were saying that you could show your Tesla app to the Como shopping center concierge during business hour or during opening hours, and they're happy to give you a discount apparently. So maybe somebody can verify
Mm.
that for us in Melbourne. Tassie, if you want, hello there. Good morning, everyone from Overcast Hobart. Nice of you to join us. Yes, go back and watch the replay. That's fine. It's always up there. And okay, that's how they make the majority of their money. I think that's in relation to this message here from Tassie Thylacine saying the incentive for car and dyno juice stations to install EV charging stations is that they will increase the revenue from the sales of products, particularly coffee, particularly because EV owners have to stay at these sites a bit longer is naturally because it takes longer to charge their vehicles.
Yeah, and as long as the experience overall is all right, like, people are going to purchase things anyway while they, whether they're waiting at a petrol station or elsewhere. So, like, it's habits, right? And we have to sort of take into account as we get into more slightly broader adoption of EVs with some of the more affordable models, but also anyone else, people just want a good experience wherever they are. And if they can offer somewhat of a seamless experience like they do today with some of their petrol station offerings and tailor it more towards slightly longer dwell times and people sort of hanging around, it's a nicer place to be. I don't see why you couldn't really see it as an opportunity, and it's a win-win situation then, more charges and more customers for them.
Yeah, that's right. I think the sweet spot is probably half an hour. I think anything more, most people will get a bit antsy. Especially, I think in a Tesla, from my stats, I've driven quite a few times around on road trips. And I think 25 to 30 minutes is usually the charge time for a rear-wheel drive vehicle that can charge up to 150 kilo, 170 kilowatts, a little bit faster with the 250s. But anything sort of slower than that, half an hour, I think people start to get a bit nervous, or well, not nervous, but sort of anxious wanting to get back on the road. So if you can keep a customer entertained for half an hour, that's where the sweet spot is going to be. Also, I just want to touch on apps as well. I know apps cop a bit of a beating when it comes to EV charging. I'm kind of in two minds. I can see why they would use an app to monitor our usage and stuff, but I think in the long run, I think apps need to go for the most. You just tap and go with your credit card or Apple Watch or whatever. But apps should still remain if you, I guess maybe they can incentivize people using apps by giving them a discount Riz or maybe free coffee or something when you show your app. I think that's the way to attract people to use the app if they want to for that purpose.
Yeah, as they, I think a lot of the big company apps, 7-Eleven and all the rest of them, they do have some sort of incentives for people to keep using the app. And it's, helps those companies send push notifications to people to remind them, hey, 7-Eleven still exists and come and visit us. But yeah, no, it needs to be tailored. Whatever it is, needs to be tailored, shouldn't be forceful. And ultimately, if customers don't take up what you're offering, then your offering wasn't that great. So
Yeah,
you need to make sure that it's targeted, it's more in line. I mean, it would be great if one day some of these petrol stations also start selling Type 2 cables. I don't know. I guess, anything's possible. That's more tailor-made stuff, the better it would be. So those viewers that may or may not work at some of these companies, there's lots of tips we're handing out that EV drivers want to see.
That's correct. What EV drivers want. Yep, correct. Let's touch on this comment here from Abby. This was raised, I think, recently on one of our recent streams. Apologies, I forgot who raised the Tesla odometer concern, but I have been testing it with GPS-based speed app. So far, 250 kilometers driven with a mix of city and freeway. No issues found so far. So that's good to know. That's the Tesla odometer is well calibrated, as you would hope. Tassie EV1 says Kempower and Uptronics are both just as reliable charging hardware. Yep, that's good. And Kempower, of course, have told me publicly that they have 99% uptime, which is great. So, I'm not just saying Tesla superchargers are the best, but other brands that are good, like Kempower, they're the ones we want to see on our highways and not the ones that have been not so good in the past. So Hal's saying Ampol has no connection with the EG Group. They are publicly owned in Australia, have been for as long as I can remember. Used to be known as Caltex. Correct. Although I did read Riz. I think they are connected, though. I could be wrong here.
My understanding is there is some EG Group purchase sites from Woolworths. So those Woolworths, maybe they were Woolworths Caltex. It's all very confusing. I mean, it's about to get even more confusing with Viva Energy purchasing OTR as well. So yeah.
I mean, who knows what the business model is for these guys? So I don't know. You're right, though, Hal. I mean, Ampol used to be Caltex. So I'm not sure. Maybe we need someone from Ampol to clarify that for us. But whatever the case, we want to see reliable chargers at Ampol and BP and everywhere else that does EV charging.
Well, to me, this whole situation, even that image in the background, is confusing marketing. Who owns who? Who is EG Group? Who is Ampol? Because yes, there were Caltex once, but there was also Ampol many years ago. I've seen some of those real old fuel pumps that still say Ampol on them in museums. So who knows what's going on? We just want reliable charges.
Exactly. Whatever. Just get us back on the road. Correct. Yeah, you're right, Riz. EG, Ampol, Woolies, like, okay, what's going on? It's a little bit confusing for us, but anyway, make it a good experience will come. That's the bottom line, really. Okay, so Sensei saying Tom's trying to channel his inner NFL head coach with that headset and mic all in one. Yeah, this is my son's. It's really good, actually. Better than having AirPods and then like another mic. So all good, whatever works, right? We are very pragmatic here. Okay, Greg says, we just got back from 3 weeks in the US, and the longest we ever spent at a supercharger was about 30 minutes. Cool. He's concurring with what I'm saying. Most were done in 10 minutes, having so many, you just drive to the next one. Yeah, that's right. That's the idea, isn't it? Yep, Gaffer's agreeing with us. Apps, or at least some way of identifying who you are good for things like membership bonuses, etc. Correct. Okay, GC Andrew, the upsell of electricity at high speed seems to be a 2 times, 3 times multiplier of retail electricity cost. I wonder if this is going to come down or go up with the broader adoption of EVs. Any thoughts on that, Riz?
Yeah, just the retail electricity costs, I guess, are dependent on a fair few different things. And I'm not an expert by any standard, but I know a lot of the charging companies are also talking about renewable electricity. So, EV Network and others, they purchase renewable electricity to supply to our EVs as such. But retail costs just go up and down. And as there's more renewables in the market, they reckon it's going to be a pretty expensive transition. So our electricity prices may go up even at retail level. But high-speed charging operators, I'm sure they can get something at wholesale.
Yep. I mean, I don't think any of these charging sites are profitable on their own just yet. I mean, petrol stations make most of the revenue like from the shops, as we've touched on already. So that's where the money's going to be, I think, as people transition. So Hal's saying not financial advice, but wow, that Fisker share price has been pummeled much like Tritium in the last week. Yes, I saw that too. We touched on that on Wednesday with Rahul. Henrik will have to pull a rabbit out of his hat to save the company. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, isn't it, Riz? Fisker and also Lucid are in a bit of trouble at the moment.
Yeah, a lot. It's not easy being an EV startup in this space. Particularly, like Fisker has an interesting model. I think they don't manufacture their own cars, which is sometimes advantageous because then you don't need to set up manufacturing facilities. They outsource a lot of that contracted manufacturing, but it's a hard slog. Like you can't get to scale, you can't reduce your costs, you can't make a margin unless you sell a lot of them.
Mm.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting for both Lucid and Fisker.
You're right. It's always better to source everything in-house if you've got the talent, of course, to vertically integrate your business. Yes, initial costs are high, but in the long run, as Tesla has shown, you will be profitable if you get things done right. So this is Sawyer saying that breaking news from, I think, yesterday, Lucid has unveiled its first ever SUV called the Gravity. Production starts late 2024. Starting price $80,000 US, starting up to 440 miles of range, 600 Ks, 0 to 60 in 3.5, so it's pretty good. And 350 kilowatt fast charging, it's pretty quick. And 6 tons of towing. I mean, this is pretty premium risk. This is probably going to compete with the Model X, I would have thought.
Yes, it's a seven-seater from what I can see. And yes, that's or nearly 3 ton of towing. Um, that's yeah, should be pretty cool. But I guess it's the same, right? Late 2024, if they start production in the US, predominantly, the market is still, I don't know how many people have that sort of money to spend. Yes, it is Model X territory, but um, I guess it's the reputation of the brand as well, and charging infrastructure, which is also another big thing that Tesla has over Lucid at the moment.
Yep.
So I guess time will tell.
Well, at least Lucid has signed on to the NACS network, which is good. I guess we saw the Cadillac Lyric launch this week in Australia as well, so that's another sort of high-end SUV you'll be competing with. I mean, look, Lucid make great products. Don't get me wrong; they look fantastic. But just like tongue in cheek, how much is this car going to lose? Each car they
Yeah.
make. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. Cool. Let's move on with some of the comments. So, SWS, do you think they will put prices on billboards like current petrol stations? They're already kind of doing that, I think, in some sites. So it'll happen. JD Media is saying hello from Geelong. Hello.
Hey.
Nice to see you. Okay, so Simon's saying my husband is non-technical, and anything more than tap and go such as apps just makes the whole charging experience a blockage. Yeah, a lot like him out there. Look, Riz, let's be real here. Like, even experienced EV users like us whipping an app out, blah blah blah. That's 5 minutes gone, isn't it? At least.
It's frustrating, right? And I think that's the sort of stuff, like for those that are interested, if you can get an RFID tag for that network, that's way better than waiting around for apps, connections, what's working, what's not working. And as we sort of learned in that Optus situation as well, last week, I think it was, that RFIDs at certain charges where you have charged before apparently seem to work a bit better on some networks. So it's reliability of charge, is the key, and especially when you're road tripping, you don't want to get stuck because either there's an issue with your phone reception or chargers not connecting. So RFID is a good way, but obviously in an ideal world, it would be plug and charge like Tesla.
Yeah, correct. I mean, um, yes. So yeah, I think EV Networks last week when the Optus outage was happening showed us that yes, if you've charged it before, it'll work. I'm not sure about new sites. I also wouldn't mind if the RFID cards could be added to like an Apple Wallet or Google equivalent. That make it easier. Because who carries a wallet these days? To be honest, like I don't
Mm.
want to carry another card. So if EV Networks or ChargeFox or Everty or whoever is listening out there, yeah, can you please help us add these to the Apple Wallet? Because that would be fantastic. Riz, question from Sensei as always. So if you're forced to buy one or the other, Polestar 3, Cadillac Lyric, and now let's add the Lucid new one. I mean, who are we going to buy?
For myself, it would probably be the Polestar 3 because GM's track record of coming into markets, let's just say abusing them and leaving, they've done this before. And I think Polestar is in it for the long term, and they've got a good backing by Geely. And the product is pretty nice. Um, Cadillac, just, yeah, not too sure. Um, Unless it's my inner rapper that wants to buy one. There's nothing wrong with a Caddy, but there might be something wrong with a Caddy in Australia because GM may decide to pull the rug from under us and not support the cars in the coming years.
Yeah, as we keep saying, serious players only, and Polestar is definitely a serious player. And for me, I look at the austerity measures and resale value later on. I think Polestar between the three of them is going to be the one with the best resale value moving forward. So yeah, I'll probably go Polestar 3 as well. And it looks like a great car. They've really listened to feedback from Polestar 2 and made a fantastic vehicle. So good question there, Sensei. Thank you. All right, let's move on to the next story. Kangaroo Island is going to help us segue to this. So I'm happy to have the TES network available for our cross-country trip. Soon we'll have more affordable, reliable options. He's referring to the supercharger network, but I will touch on this story or this X from RAA. Um, and they did sort of give us an update here this week on the November construction timeline for the RAA charging network. So there we go. So we've got, for those who know these areas, Kadina, Hawker, Barossa, Barmera, Renmark, Seaford, Min, Leighton, Naracoorte, Jamestown, Port Lincoln, Adelaide CBD, and Streaky Bay times 2. So apologies if I mispronounced any of those. But Riz, I mean, this is some hope that they are starting, hopefully.
Yeah, I think it's looking good in the sense that I have a feeling they're listening. They're listening to what we're doing, all the good work we're putting out there, Tom, because as we said, you got to be transparent, and they've started to put some stuff out, which is great. I think a couple of those are the 150 kilowatt sites as well, um, but most of them are the 7 kilowatt, like the charger in the background there. So yeah, I hope a lot of the motoring organizations do start to let us know as to what are some of the sites that are upcoming, and if they're going to do this monthly, I think that's still a very, very good way of communicating with EV drivers that hey, it's happening.
Yes, you're right, Riz. Hopefully they listen to us. I mean, this came very timely, didn't it, after I started calling them out last week. So yeah, look, Ludicrous Feed is the channel to go to. We've got a great audience. We're very informed, very engaging. So if you want information spread quickly, this is the way to do it. So reaching out to RAA, RSCV, RSCQ was very kind enough to send Dr. Michael Kane last week. Yeah, just an open invite always exists for you guys to come onto the show and chat to us about what you're doing. So good to have an update at least. Thank you. So Nick is saying, I think it's a no-brainer for shopping centres to install A+ chargers, 100%. Don't necessarily need them at every petrol station with limited waiting spaces. Ross is saying EG Group uses Ampol fuels, but not owned by Ampol, but you can't use your Ampol discounts on EG sites. Okay, thanks, Ross. That's good. Mark has a good point. Do you think all the interest rate rises and high inflation cost of living issues will slow Australian EV uptake, or will more people try to find a way to minimise the high petrol costs? Great question.
Yeah, I'd say it's a combination. I think the fringe benefit tax incentives, and the LCT threshold, the fact that EVs can be of a higher value, that's going to help buck some of those trends around high inflation and I guess interest rates. But we're getting more and more affordable models coming into the market as well. People have a choice, quite a few choices now. Tesla at the moment, Model 3 is anything that's in inventory is the cheapest it's ever been. BYD also this week, I think, offering another $500 on top of the $3,000 rebate in New South Wales, so $3,500 off the price of an Atto 3 Dolphin or eligible Seal. That's actually quite good. So there are quite a few things that are happening in the market now, and hopefully some of those issues with interest rates will not impact the adoption. One thing we do need to do is we need to get more banks on board offering, they make a lot of money. These banks make so much money, as we're saying, especially when everyone else is hurting, they're making huge profits. The least they can do is, look at the ESG strategies and say, hang on, we should be offering slightly, lower interest rates for those people that want to buy an electric vehicle. So I think Combank did a deal with Tesla. I'm not sure how it's going. It was 5%. if you were going to buy a Tesla and get a loan from Combank, which was pretty good for a car loan in these times. So other banks are listening, do the same thing, make it, take a bit of the sting out of these rising interest rates for people that want to make the switch to a cleaner vehicle.
Well, let's be fair, Riz. I think banks only look after number one, which is themselves. But at least, hopefully, they'll have some sort of deal to attract new customers, and EVs are the way to go at the moment. Let's stop at the halfway point real quick and just thank our sponsors once again. Carloop, Wallbox, and Evee. Help yourself to a nice discount in the video description below for Wallbox and Evee. So thank you very much to our sponsors. I'm seeing some chat in the live chat about the BYD C line. I'll get to that very shortly. That was announced overnight in Guangzhou in China. But just quickly, some comments really quickly. Tassie EV1 saying apps are good, but as Bjorn has shown, do we really want 20 plus apps on our phone? Never mind the RFID cards to go with. I 100% agree with you. We don't want all those apps, 100%. Thanks, Gaffer, for joining us this morning. I know you've got to go. You said that earlier. Thank you. And yeah, Han Solo, any news on when the Tesla Model 3 Highland will make its way to our shores? Well, next week, the Tesla Owners Club of Australia are allowing their members to have a sneak peek preview of the Highland Model 3 update at the Capital City showrooms. So if you're a TOCA member, get onto that real quick. As to the rest of the general public, I don't know. Probably very shortly after, I would have thought. Adam's got a good point. Apps give you live status. Yeah, that's true. That's another incentive for downloading an app. That's probably why I would download an app at the moment.
One thing on that, anyone that's used the Kempower chargers, they've got a pretty cool system where once you start charging, they present a QR code to you that you can just scan, and it gives you it will open a web browser page with the live status of your car. So for those that don't have a Tesla app, or they may have started a charging session with an RFID tag, you can still find out what the state of your car's charge is while scanning that QR code. But yes, apps do make it seamless. They have some benefits. I guess we just don't want 40 of them on our phone.
Yeah, I like that what Kempower's doing with the live status on the browser. At least there's not another app. I'll just quickly run through some more comments. Looks like you need a gold chain, Riz, for the rapid look. Tassie EB's asking, are you saying GM is a one-night stander? Well, as Sensei said, Holden GM fiasco a few decades ago. That's correct. Yep.
Well, what was that thing? Who killed the electric car? It
was EV1, correct. Robin Jules says tap and pay is better than app and pray. Oh, I like it. That's a nice one. App and pray. Gene says I'd rather buy an electric VW Caddy. Nice. Yeah, Kangaroo Island's saying, of course, RAA can add a Kangaroo Island 150 kilowatt in November. That's right. That would be nice, wouldn't it? Russ is saying I finished charging yesterday at an EV site at DFO in Brisbane, as I did a guy with an old VW Beetle with the number plate E-Bug pulled in. Okay, maybe it was a converted Beetle. Nice. Okay, let's keep going with these comments. Thanks so much for commenting, everyone. This is great. I love you guys. You are very informed and always very engaging. Thank you. Screamer saying Kia EV5 pricing was announced for China starting at $20,000 US. Okay, nice. That's good value, isn't it? EV5 is like a smaller EV9, Riz, isn't it? It's a Model Y sort of equivalent.
Yeah, it's maybe yeah, it's very close. It'll be something like Kia e-Niro,
Right, yes.
or like a Hyundai Kona electric sort of size, I think.
Okay. Speaking of Kona, yes, it's very soon, I think, being launched in Australia. So stay tuned, everyone. Okay, let's move on to what we were talking about just briefly, which is the Sea Lion that was announced overnight in China, Guangzhou, which is this one here. So BYD adds Sea Lion series to its model lineup. Sea Lion 07 makes debut. Looks like as they call it, a four-door coupe. To get used to saying that, with a fastback cutback there. So this will be, I guess, Model Y equivalent again, Riz. Probably.
Yeah, this is actually a ground-up electric vehicle, this one, compared to some of the others that have their plug-in hybrid technology. And yeah, this is Model Y size. Reminds me a little bit of, from this angle, like a Audi Q. What were they called? Q5 Sportback or
Mm,
something like that. So a lot of inspiration. I think their chief designer once was at Audi or something like that.
that's right.
So very, very, like, looks cool. Looks really cool.
Yes, he was, wasn't he? I'm just trying to remember his name. Wolfgang Egger, that's right.
Yeah.
Formerly of Audi, so that's why you're seeing the resemblance there. Yeah, I quite like it. Their designs have really improved over the last few years, for sure. Very aerodynamic too. You've got the what do you call it, flush door handles to there. Of course, the sport back makes it less drag too at the back, so less turbulence, which is great. This kind of stuff's very important for EVs with aerodynamics and efficiency at the moment. So yeah, good looking car. Hopefully we'll see that in Australia too as time goes on. There's a front three-quarter shot. It actually kind of looks like a seal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like a pumped up seal.
From the front and from the rear, like the tail
Mm.
lights and the headlights are very, very similar. Um,
Yeah, it's good. Let me see if there's any specs here. C line's expected to be priced between 27,000 US. Wow, that's such good value for China. Goodness.
that's yeah, it's lower than the Song L, whatever. I think the Song Plus is the one that's running around Australia at the moment,
Yes.
being tested. So, look, I think for a car like this, people would be quite happy to pay around 55 grand as a starting price. But if we're blown away by the Seals pricing in Australia, particularly the entry level model, then it's likely that this would be under 60 grand. And I think these cars should be for the global market. I don't think they can really just keep it within China. Now that they have the distribution network around the world to do it, I think this is definitely for the international market. And like, it looks good. It's priced relatively well. If it's under 60 grand, it's a ground up electric SUV. I'd see a lot of these ending up on our roads, hopefully late 2024, early 2025.
Yeah, that's right, Riz. I think it'll be contingent on how popular and how successful the Seal is in Australia, given this is basically a Seal pumped up. So it'll be like what the Model Y is compared to the Model 3. And Greg's asking how is this different from the Atto 3? Well, I think, Riz, this is the next generation of BYD cars. So a proper
It
ground up
is,
car.
and this is based on the, I think they call it the E 3.0 platform, which is the Seals platform. It also is longer, and I think will have more space on the inside. Um, does that article say when the first sort of customer deliveries are penciled?
Let's see. Scanning through now.
Yeah, yeah.
No, doesn't say as yet.
Okay, yeah. That's cool. I think the fact that it's already on show and we know how quickly BYD is launching, well, they can get these vehicles very quickly. I think from memory, the last year Seal was announced in June or July, and I think first customer deliveries were September or October in
Mm,
China. So if that timeline is anything to go by, these might be in customers' hands by January, February in
mm.
China. And then, I guess we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, Greg, you're asking why have three very similar cars. I mean, people might argue the Tesla Model 3 and Model Y are actually very similar as well.
Yeah.
And this is sort of continuation of this comment from Mart. It sounds as if BYD aren't taking off as they would like in Oz, already offering discounts. They're offering discounts on the Atto 3. I mean, the cynic of me is saying they're probably trying to phase out the Atto 3 and move on to the next generation platform, which is the E Platform 3, as we just discussed.
That is a very interesting sort of comment. I saw something on CNEV post just overnight that BYD has publicly come out and said they're doing quite well in a few international markets, and surprisingly, Australia is not there, but New Zealand is.
Mm. Very interesting, isn't it?
And that's what they're publicly putting out there. So I was expecting to see Australia, but I'm not sure what the company's thinking because yeah, they put New Zealand on there that they are quite happy with the performance of sales, I guess, and market penetration. So yeah, time will tell.
Yeah, exactly. And I think again, as I said, the success will be hinging on, I think, the Seal success and the Dolphin success, which is the new platform cars moving forward. It'll be a better competition for the Tesla vehicles, I think, these new cars. So stay tuned, everyone. It'll be very very interesting times ahead. And Gene saying the Sea Lion is much bigger than Atto 3 and it'll be more premium and different markets. Yeah, I think so too. It'd be priced at probably, I would say, 10 to 15, maybe even $20,000 more. Maybe not 20, maybe $15,000 more than the Atto 3, I would say. Oscar is saying we're just the West Island of New Zealand.
That's
I
right.
think I've got a fridge magnet like that, actually. Um, yeah, so Jerry Cans is saying Sea Lion looks like a winner when it comes to Australia. So we'll see. Very interesting times. Cool. Let's move on to our next story. And I just wanted to quickly touch on, show this one here before we move on, which is Sandy P just tagged me on X saying that the new version of the both Model 3 and Model Y owner's manual for Australia and other countries now lists FSD beta option as activation details, whereas previously it did not. So, Riz, is this a sign of things to come very shortly?
Well, we know one person, the mayor of Nashville, Tesla and the Gong. He seems to know what's going on. He's obviously, on Elon's hotline. I hope he can find out for us what's going on because I'm a bit confused. I've seen some videos online of Australian drivers possibly trying something. I'm not sure what's going on. That FSD world is too far ahead for me.
Yeah, that's right. I have trouble driving my own car sometimes, so maybe that's why I need FSD. But I saw a comment on X saying, "Well, do we really want this to be pushed out so widely over Christmas? Because we probably should have a test bed first to see how well it goes." I think I kind of
Yeah.
agree with that before it being launched widely. So I can't see it being pushed out across the whole network so quickly. It'll be a step-by-step process. The logistics of it will be interesting. Let's move on to this YouTube video, actually, just out of interest. This was shared to me by someone this week. This is Carl from Outer Specs YouTube video showing us the first Mercedes-Benz ground-up charging
Case of
station.
charging, what their plans are for future rollouts.
I won't put his voice on. I'll just sort of. Oh, no. No. I'll skip that. Oh, no, another ad. I'll let that run while we just talk, Riz. Yeah, so we talk often about EV charging stations being ground up, Riz. I think this is probably the way forward. Hopefully, Mercedes and other brands will do the same here in Australia too.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see because no car manufacturer has really said that they will be doing too much here in Australia, which is a bit surprising given.
Oh, keep going, Riz. Yeah, sorry. Keep going.
Yeah, well, like I think we need more, and uh, I guess the Mercedes as a brand is very well known, and it's much larger in terms of the number of units they sell in the US. Porsche has tried Porsche's own chargers in Europe. Obviously, we've seen Porsche's destination chargers in Australia at some wineries and other places, but this sort of a layout or EV hub is quite good. I wonder which brand will take the lead in Australia, if any.
Mm. I mean, we do call it out quite often here, and we want brands like Polestar, BYD, even though some of the other OEMs like Hyundai who are making electric cars to have a ground up EV station like this. Um, I mean, I was wondering whether this was allowed. This will allow other cars to charge, but I just saw Rivian that car was in front of, so hopefully it opens up to everyone as well. And then having a nice, shopping area where you can sit down, have a coffee, have a drink, have some food, sit down for a bit. But this is the kind of covered area, hopefully solar on top, drive-through stalls. This would be perfect for Australia.
Hmm.
Yeah, so I'll leave a link to this video in the description after the stream for you guys to check out. Looks good. And they don't have to all look this premium. Like, I mean, this looks really nice. Obviously, it's Mercedes-Benz, but we don't ask for much. Covered stalls, drive-through, food outlets. Doesn't have to be too difficult. Nick makes a good point. How many car manufacturers actually produce petrol pumps? It's rare that Tesla operates in
Yeah.
both spaces. And that's where Tesla knew that was going to be the issue. Charging was going to be half the experience. So they were smart from the beginning to roll that out. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked from the very beginning. Cool. Thank you, Carl. We'll keep watching later on. Oh, Sensei. He's a cool guy. Carl is cooler than Tom, though, only just. That's fine. He gets better stuff in the US to review. Come on, I'm stuck with what I've got here.
Yeah, that's right.
I get what I get. And Tassie Evie one says the Mercedes charging hub is open to all. It's not a closed charger site to just the manufacturer. Good to see.
But one thing that that is closed that Mercedes has is the front bonnet in an EQE.
Oh, really?
Well, yeah, you can't open it.
What?
Yeah, you
Seriously?
can't open the front bonnet in a Mercedes EQE or some of the other Mercedes EV products. The only thing you can open is a little side slat that opens out so you can put your washer fluid into it, and it's above the wheel arch. You can't open the front bonnet of a Mercedes EQ car.
So you can't open it at all as a customer?
No.
Is that for a safety reason or what? Why?
Don't know. You can't open it.
I mean, isn't that a fire hazard? If something happens, wouldn't the guys have to get the jaws of life out to open it up? I mean, it's crazy.
No idea. It's ridiculous. But anyway, sorry for a side joke there. But yeah, you can't open the bonnet. But hopefully these charge points that they put out there are open to all EVs.
Yeah, that'd be good. Greg says, I think someone like Polestar Volvo needs to do these. I agree. Or at least invest in something. Maybe a joint effort by all the car manufacturers. That'd be good too.
They're trying something like that in the US. Apparently, there is some sort of an alliance thing going on with Hyundai and a few others to try and make it happen. But it's one of those announcements that, by 2026, we will have, so it'd be interesting to see.
Yep. And Cyber EV, I couldn't agree more. And the worst part of charging on the road is when it's raining. Good thing it doesn't rain too often in Australia, but when it does, it's annoying when they're not covered. I agree. Screamer one. Considering Australian government funded a whole lot of petrol stations when they were rolling out back in the early 20th century, we probably need more government funding, even if it goes to pollution fuel companies. Great point.
They do have the arena funding at the moment, but the way it's allocated, I feel, is not really transparent to the EV community. And they have handed it out to BP and others, Ample particularly. But yeah, we need more transparency and a larger fund like the US fund, which is billions of dollars to roll out charging infrastructure. That's why Tritium shut up shop here and go and manufacture chargers in the US. We need something similar to keep these companies here and encourage others to come as well. So yeah, fingers crossed. We just keep asking for transparency.
That's right. That's all we want. Thank you, Hal. Yes, I do have a full-time job actually, and Carl and Bjorn are full-time, I think, at the moment, which is great. They were able to transition from their jobs to full-time YouTube, full-time job, full-time family, full-time father, and full-time with you guys. So
full-time gamer now, we know.
Full-time gamer, full-time helicopter pilot too. So I live 4 lives in one, which is great. Never stop. Riz, I need to be a rapper like you. Clearly, I'm living in the wrong industry here.
Look, I think I forgot to mention I'm the reason why Caddy's actually launched in Australia, because the future of future rap careers in Australia depend on it.
That's it. We need more rappers for sure to drive more caddies. We are coming to the end of our stream. I just wanted to quickly. We're not actually. We've got 10 more minutes, but we will just run through this article really quickly. And this is the best electric vehicles coming to Australia in 2024. Article by the RACV this week. So let's run through them now. BYD CLU, we kind of touched on that with the Sea Lion just then. But CLU is a bit different proposition, isn't it, Riz? I think is this a hybrid or is it a full EV?
It's supposed to be a plug-in hybrid, but there is a full electric version as well. I'm not sure what they've mentioned in this article, but yeah, interesting to see.
Next one is the BYD Ute. This is one we need to see, of course, in Australia. That'll be good.
Yep.
Jeep Avenger, which is this monstrosity here. Do we need more big cars in Australia? Clearly we do. Hyundai Kona EV, yeah, that's one I'm looking forward to. That'll be a very good proposition. I'm very curious to see what the price will be too. There it is there in a photo charging away.
Yeah.
Kia EV5, that'll be a good one as well. Look at this. Someone needs to proofread this. Forthcoming Tesla BZ4X. What the heck?
Oh no.
That's so bad.
Oh, so this story, because I often get told this stuff when I write for The Driven.
Right.
Some people reckon ChatGPT wrote it. So is this written by ChatGPT? I don't know.
Could possibly be. Oh my goodness, seriously.
Oh,
We need
no.
to hopefully someone from RACV is watching this and check that up real quick. We'll touch on Toyota very shortly, but that was quite funny. Oh, MG Cyberster. Yeah, this is a good one. This is like their Roadster. That's so cool. Wow, 0 to 100 in 2.6 seconds apparently. Woo!
That I don't know. It was definitely not under 3 seconds because, obviously my performance, anything that's rated on a performance level, I'll try and compare it to. I don't think is that what it's actually saying? Expected to make 400 kilowatts. Cyberster is in Porsche Taycan performance category. Yeah, I thought it was 320 kilowatts and 3.8 seconds or something. Oh yeah, I'll have to
Wow.
double check.
I'm just looking at it now. 3.2 seconds.
3.2. Okay.
According to Google. I mean, I don't know how much we could trust this RSCV article, Riz, given they
Oh
got the
no.
Tesla BZ and they're misquoting this time here. Nissan
Listen,
Ariya.
I don't
Yep.
think that was ever coming.
What is going on with this article? Tesla Model 3. Okay, that's true. The update.
Yeah.
Polestar 4. Yes, looking forward to that one too. That's like the.
I think
cut
that's
coupe.
end of Q3, early Q4 for Polestar 4.
Yep. That's like that's a small SUV, isn't it? I'm getting my
Yeah.
Polestars mixed up now. Yep. And there we go, Toyota BZ4X. At least got that right down the bottom. I'll touch on Toyota very shortly, but they are the electric cars apparently that might be coming next year in Australia. Thank you, RSEV. Thank you, Kenny Timms. Look at this. He has gifted 10 Ludicrous Feed memberships. Thank you, sir. Well done. Let me see who he's given it out to if I can.
I think Abby is one.
Yep. Hal, Nick, Abby, Marcus A, Praneeth Akaraju, Chewy, Paul Kerr, Daniel Webb, Matthew Spark. Welcome to the channel, everyone, and thank you, Kenny Timms. You are an absolute legend. That's very, very generous of you. Thank you. Amazing.
Wonderful.
And Paul asks, what's my real job? I'm a wannabe rapper. You know that.
That's
yeah, no, I am in the health industry and I do work as a doctor, which I put in my LinkedIn profile. So that's what I do for my real job. Keeps me busy enough. Yep, Adam says thanks for the local content. And sorry, Jeep is a small B class. Okay, not a big car. Thanks everyone. Jeep Avenger isn't a big car. It's a Tonka toy next to him. Okay, thank you. Apologies for that. He's a big guy though, so to be fair. Jack Scarlett. And Jez is saying just woke up. What did I miss? So much, Jez. Gotta wake up early next time. That's funny. Oh, Abby's gifted 5 as well. My goodness. What? Let's see who's he's given out to. Let's see. We've got Miller-san, Adam Peck, Richard Laxton. Oh, Richard's got a membership. That's great. Jason Archer and Johnny Rahajo. Sorry for the mispronunciation, but thank you, Abby. That's very kind of you. Wow, Kenny and Abby. That's so good, Riz. So good.
Yeah.
And Kangaroo Island says, I thought you said you were a farmer, but you said father. Yeah. Look at these hands. They're too soft to be a farmer. I mean, they're very precious. They're made for different skills. Too good. Let's quickly touch on Toyota. Actually, this is a Toyota watch we've got on at the moment. So this was shared to me by one of our viewers who's happy for me to share this. So this was a announcement in Japan this week, I think. Speaking to Australian media at Prime Planet Energy and Solutions plant in Himeji in Japan, about the new generation Toyota batteries. No two batteries are alike. The batteries produced here are a cut above those offered by others in the markets at Mr. Hanley. That's Sean Hanley from Toyota. They plan to make 3.5 million BEVs a year by 2030. It's only 6 years away. Joint venture with Panasonic to produce its own lithium-ion batteries makes Toyota one of only 3 manufacturers that can control its own battery production. A telling example is here that each of the batteries built here is tested for an extensive period, Riz, not just days, but weeks. They run it down for you in the factory. That means constant charging, discharging, and recharging batteries like they are fitted to a customer's car. According to this benefits cars like the BZ4X, apparently, which is X generation already. It's a time-consuming but vital process, adds to performance and reliability. So, is this comforting for you, Riz? Toyota saying this?
Well, according to them, they've been making BEVs for a long time in the form of a Prius. So, look, anything's possible with Toyota. I think the day we know they've really shifted is when we actually see electric Hiluxes rolling down off the production line and into customers' hands. That's when we'll know that they're really serious about doing anything in this space. So until then, I think the good thing is they are creating the next generation battery that will charge in 2 minutes and weighs 2 kilos, making our cars lighter and hopefully making them fly.
Yeah, Toyota promising big things as always. So yeah, we'll keep a watch on that. And also back to Japan. Actually, this was also shared to me by a viewer this week. Share this one really quickly. So this is the Hyundai Kona in Japan. And this gentleman who shared this with me said that he only counted a handful of cars or a handful of EVs in northern Japan when he was there recently. So not many EVs in Japan just yet, which is not surprising. But the Kona EV, is this the Kona? Yeah, the Kona in EV in Japan sells for quite cheap, actually, much cheaper than it would in Australia. Let's see if I can get this. Here we go. So 43,000 Aussie dollars in Japan equivalent for a Kona EV, so much cheaper. Whereas it's so top of the range all-wheel drive Ioniq 5 as well is 65,000 in Japan versus 90,000 here in Australia. Riz, could you share as to why that might be? Why is it so much cheaper in Japan, given the state of play they are in currently?
Maybe
It's weird, right?
demand. Maybe demand. Maybe. See, one thing I often wonder is if a Japanese person buys an electric car that's made by a non-Japanese brand, are they frowned upon? Or are they like, we will disown you because you drive something that is not made in Japan?
The
I'm not
shame.
sure. Yeah, that's right. Maybe nobody wants them for various different reasons, including some social ones.
Yeah, that's right. Then there's no incentives in Japan as well for EVs, particularly EVs that are made in Japan. Like this is obviously made in Korea. So I don't know. It's a mystery to me as well. But yeah, thanks for pointing it out to that viewer. So I appreciate that. Cool. All right. Well, we're almost at the end of our stream. Let's go through some more comments here. So yeah, Nick says we do laugh at them, but I think Toyota have time and skills to turn their Titanic around. Yeah, we want them to, Nick. Definitely. That's why we laugh at them, because we know they can do it. We just need them to get serious for sure. Anti-cycling say, who knows, the BYD Ute could become the Subaru Brumby replacement for the cockies on the land. It could be. Yeah, okay. Ooh, Tassie government has made available $750,000 for rebates on EV purchase up to $2,000, including second-hand EVs. Okay, cool.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. Ooh, maybe I'm a cosmetic surgeon, Riz, with these beautiful hands. And Abby saying you asked, I delivered. I'm pledging 20 memberships once the interest rates comes down. He's promising Toyota style. Fantastic. Thanks, Abby. Gene saying Toyota fixing a problem that doesn't exist. Yeah, I agree, Chris. Why is Toyota talking about the Tesla BZ4X? That's funny.
Maybe they're still a little bit upset that they sold Tesla shares because Toyota used to own them from what Wikipedia says.
That's true.
So maybe they're still a bit upset about the fact. And fun fact, there is a Tesla Roadster in Toyota Museum in Japan.
Ah,
So Toyota has a car museum. Anyone that's been there, I haven't been, but someone I knew did. They took a photo of a Tesla Roadster along with many other vehicles, including electric cars. So yeah.
okay. I'll have to go next time I'm in Japan to check that out. And fun fact too, the Fremont factory in California is actually an ex-Toyota factory too.
Ooh.
So there you go. And Rachel, I agree. It's so sad how we are all now so cynical about Toyota. They've done so much damage to their brand's reputation. Well, it's shooting themselves in the foot. I mean, come on, they need to get serious instead of
Mm.
pledging something like 10 years down the line. Like, let's do it. Richard says, I saw an Ioniq 5 taxi in Kyoto. Very few Korean cars in Japan. I suspect that EVs might be a way into the market. Mhm. That's right. Hello, Ray. Good morning. Yep, I agree. I mean, they make great cars. Like, I'm not just disputing that they've made great cars in the past. We just need them to make EVs from now on. Um, let's see any more comments here. Kangaroo saying, yeah, it's same problem with Australia, very conservative. That's also true. Scared of change, perhaps. Yeah, I agree. Well, Riz, think we might leave it there, actually. It's been a great stream as always, into the hour mark. I've really enjoyed it as always. Thanks to our very entertaining viewers who've given us some good discussion points.
It's been great. So much to talk about, particularly when it comes to charging and holding some of these brands accountable for giving us what we want as EV drivers. But at the same time, I think it's for the future cleaner cities. That's what we
That's
want
right.
in the end.
Yep. We're taking the monkey because, well, we actually care. Like we wouldn't otherwise. We just like, yeah, we just wouldn't care. But we're making fun because we want you to improve. We want you to improve because that improves our lives as well. So please don't take us too seriously. We're trying to help you overall. And finally, a joke from Rob. Why does Hollywood love Riz so much? Because he's a great actor. Oh my goodness. That's
Thanks,
made my
Rob.
Saturday. All right. Thank you, Riz, as always. Great to have you on the chat. Very insightful. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Great, everyone. Look forward to the next one.
Indeed. All right. Thank you, Riz. Thank you, everyone. We shall see you next Wednesday. And question, what car am I sitting in? I'm actually sitting in the GWM Aura Cat in the North Shore of Sydney. So I've already reviewed it. It's on my channel, but I might take some photos anyway for social media. So thanks, everyone. Stay tuned for Wednesday and more future videos on Ludicrous Feed. Thanks so much. And as always, happy charging. Take care.